Hi everyone, thank you again for being here. I just did the Moonology deck video, so now I'm doing my other deck as promised, and it's my Gilded Tarot deck. Because I realized, as much as I do these tarot and oracle deck reviews, because a lot of you have been asking for specific decks and saying, oh, have you tried this deck? What does it feel like? That sort of thing. I realized I hadn't actually reviewed my two main working decks. Now, when I do a review of a deck, I talk about the feel of it, I talk about, you know, who's made it, that sort of thing. I won't be able to do it with this deck. This is actually one of the most popular decks because I've had this deck for so long. I don't think I even have the box. I did, however, find the book, but the book is at home right now. So I didn't bring the book, but I will review this deck anyways. It's called the Gilded Deck. Now, there's a few different versions now of it out, but this is one of the original versions. I'm not sure you can still get it, but I will put links for the Gilded Deck. Even the newer versions are mostly the same. There's a couple of cards that are slightly different. Like the Lovers is different in this deck versus the other deck. I like both cards, to be quite honest, and it's such a beautiful deck. This is definitely my main go-to deck. I switch it out every once in a while, but even if I want to use a different tarot deck, sometimes I'll still include my Gilded Tarot deck. And like I said, it's on Amazon. It's considered like there's a kit that's called the Beginner's Tarot Kit kind of thing, and it's including the Gilded Deck. Now, I think one of the reasons why it's called the Beginners is not because it's a simple deck or anything like that. Tarot is a language, and you need to learn that language, and a lot of times people teach off of the Rider-Waite Smith deck and use that as the beginner's deck, the one you learn off of. It's one I insist my students have to take my course. And the reason I say the Rider-Waite Smith deck, and most of the time it's still called the Rider-Waite, I do include Smith in it because Smith, Pamela Smith, was the artist of that deck, and she died penniless because she was not allowed to speak about the deck. The other two, Rider and Waite, were allowed to speak about the deck and sold the deck and made profit off the deck. She made money being the artist in a one-time, here's your, you know, $100, $200, whatever she got paid kind of thing to do the art, but she made no money off of the deck or the sales of the deck, and she wasn't even allowed to talk about her work on the deck or get paid to talk about her work on the deck. So she ended up dying penniless, and even in the production of it, she was not acknowledged. So it was called the Rider-Waite deck for a long, long time. Still is titled that way, but I insist on calling it the Rider-Waite Smith deck to give a nod to Pamela Smith, the woman who drew all those Rider-Waite cards. So anyways, that's my little piece there. But the Rider-Waite Smith deck is considered the tarot deck, especially for modern day age. And it's the language you have to learn. And the reason I tell my students to get the Rider-Waite Smith deck as their beginning deck is because, again, it is the deck that you learn off of. It's, if any other deck is Rider-Waite Smith based, it's based off of that deck. And most books, will talk about the Rider-Waite Smith deck as reference. It gets referenced in almost every tarot deck or tarot book you'll ever read. So to know that deck even a little bit, then you can get some visuals going. It's not an exciting deck, the Rider-Waite. It's blue and yellow, some black and some gray. It's very monotone. I've had students complain about it. I don't like it. I'm not connecting with it. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't connect with it, or I didn't feel like I connected with it either. When I first learned, my first teacher insisted that I have this deck. I was like, this is the most boring deck ever. But as I teach tarot, every time I teach a new class or a new session of tarot, I learn a little bit more about the Rider-Waite. The Rider-Waite is very, very layered if you open yourself up to it. If you're closing yourself off to the energy, then you'll never learn it. But again, like I said, tarot is that language. So there is some intuitiveness to tarot, definitely. There's definitely, you know, you can bring empathic skills or psychic gifts to tarot, but you need to learn the basic language of tarot in order to read tarot. I've said in other videos, you know, saying, you know, I read it psychically, or I use my empathic abilities, or I just read it intuitively, is like saying you speak French intuitively. You can't speak French intuitively. You need to learn some of the basic rules. And so often in any other class that I've taught, like I've taught everything from, you know, I used to be in the beauty business, so I've taught makeup lessons and skincare lessons and how to do a pedicure and how to do waxing. And I've always said in all my classes, including my tarot classes, that you need to learn the rules so you know when it's appropriate to bend or break them. If you don't know the rules, then how do you know even if you're breaking one? And how do you know you're breaking it at the right time? So that's why I'm very adamant on learning and studying the tarot for what it is, because there is such a history here and it is a language. So knowing the building blocks of tarot, then you can run away with your intuitive, empathic, psychic abilities and apply that. Absolutely. Do that. I encourage that. But learn the basics first. So this Gilded deck is a very colorful deck. Now this is a well-worn deck because I've used it for quite a while now. I can't remember when I started using it. But I've used it for quite a while. I've almost lost it like 3 times. It's always come back to me, and it's never been fully lost as a deck. It's always cards get lost and then suddenly they reappear. So I've bonded it to me, and it is an extension of myself because I've used it for so long and because I did bond it to me. I do talk about that in my tarot lessons or lessons of tarot playlist. Definitely go and take a look because I talk about the bonding process and how to do it. So it is a very colorful deck. Of course, I picked one of the sad cards first, but there's that 3 of Swords. It's always a sad card because there's 3 swords and a heart. But it is, a lot of people love this deck because it is so colorful. I find it's it really evokes a lot of emotions. What else can I say about it? It's based off the Rider-Waite-Smith. So it's very true to that sort of form. There's the King of Swords. Now, as far as swords go, I know purple is sort of an esoteric kind of color, so I get that. And, you know, blue totally makes sense because, of course, swords are about communication overall. Blue, the throat chakra, right? So there's a lot of tie-ins here, but the swords are supposed to be a serious suit, but all the sword royalty cards look great. They look so pretty. I like them. Wands are, of course, very fiery, so there's a lot of sunset-y kind of scenes. This guy's, you know, 2 of Wands. There's a choice to be made, as the 2s often are choice cards. So he's walking down a path and suddenly there's a fork and he has to make a decision. Here's the Cups. The girls are dancing and they're overflowing their cups and just having a great old time. They're playing with ribbons and those sparkly things, which are awesome. I like this one too. 7 of Pentacles. So the gold coins, you know, they're growing in the tree. She literally has a money tree. And she's worked hard, so she's gonna go up that tree and pick those pentacles. So I really, really love this deck. I mean, I wouldn't use it for probably 15 plus years if I didn't love it. I get really good messages off of it. I find it's a very positive deck. I mean, partly probably because it's bonded to me and I tend to be a positive person. At least I like to think I am. So I find that the messages, even when I have to deliver bad news or sort of like, this is going to hurt a little, or this is going to be a bit of tough love here, I find it still in a hopeful, sort of optimistic kind of way. Again, the swords. See, the Queen of Swords, she's very serious, but she's beautifully dressed in purple and blue. I love it. Love it, love it. The World. This is the card I joke. If this card turns up, we're done reading. You're good. It's got the sun and the moon. So I like the balance, and then the victory laurel here. The batons is traditional for the World. She's wearing a beautiful leotard that you can only wear if you're feeling confident. And she's looking forward. You know, it's all good things, right? The World is pretty. So we've got, okay, so we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So the Pentacles people are all green because of course they have to do mostly with money. I mean, Pentacles are about your creature comforts. It's the earth element. It can also be about your bed and your car and your house and your food and that sort of thing. But for the most part, it talks about money and sometimes a little bit of health. The Wands and Pentacles can touch on health both times. Now the Devil, got the Devil card here. There's the Devil. Kind of creepy, but you know, hey. Kind of thing, hey. Knight of Swords. Again, the blue and the purple. So pretty. I like it. The Nine of Cups. We've got the innkeeper. He's ready to have a feast. I mean, this looks like a party. Like in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's a guy sitting in front of a big long table with 9 goblets on it. And it looks like he's about to have a party, but it doesn't look like this. I like. I could see, you know, walking into one of those role-playing games on video and just, yeah, this is the innkeeper. Here's where I order my tankard of beer kind of thing, right? The Fool. So for this deck here, they use the zodiac as a form of knowledge. So the Fool has all the signs of the zodiac. So this is sort of what's in his bag, right? Like normally the Fool's holding a hobo bag on a stick, right? And he has all the tools in it most of the time. But in this deck, they use the zodiac. So he's got the zodiac in his bag and he doesn't realize it. Now I'm just looking for another card to show this off. Bear with me for a moment. Let me see if I can find her or him. Take her or him. I'm looking for the Empress or the Emperor. Where is my Empress or Emperor? Hold on. Oh, there's the Lovers. I'll show you that in a minute. Of course, it's in the other pile that I haven't looked at yet. Pull up this card too, just for fun. Ah, here we go. The Empress. So I'll bring up the Emperor because he was right beside her. So the Empress, you can see she's holding the Venus symbol, right? And she's got the zodiac surrounding her. So this is, you know, a form. She's very smart. The Empress has a lot of knowledge, and the Emperor also has knowledge. And he's got the zodiac in a different form around him. He's holding a little universe here, and he's got the sun signs all over his blue robe. Yeah, he's got sun signs all over him because he is the sun energy. She does not have the moon signs, so I'm just looking to see if she had the moon signs, but she does not. But that's okay. They both have the knowledge of the zodiac. So that's, like I said, a form of knowledge in this particular deck, how they do it. So the Lovers. This is the one I get asked for, you know, can you put this in poster form all the time? So, and this is also the one that will be slightly different if you buy a newer version of this Gilded Tarot. I don't know if you can still get the version with this particular card in it, but a lot of people love this one. Because most of the time in tarot, the Lovers is about a choice. Because a lot of the times it's usually a man and 2 women, so it's a bit of a love triangle. And he's having to make a choice as to which woman he wants, because he can't have part of column A and part of column B. That's just not going to work. But in this deck, I find a lot of times the Lovers means support. Now, if support isn't working, then I go to the choice because I know what traditionally in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, what the Lovers means. It means choice. But in this deck, like I said, it's more about support more often than not. And it's about getting that support from your partner or from your family or from your friends, usually with your partner, because you can see this warrior is holding her up to bask in the, you know, rays of sunshine, give her some vitamin D, that sort of thing. She's in a gold bikini because apparently women can always fight in bikinis. We fight better that way. But he is giving her that support and that protection so that she can just throw her head back and not worry and enjoy the sun, and the waters are calm here. And then we've got some playful dolphins playing here because it's a time of knowing you're safe, knowing you're supported in whatever endeavor you want to take on, kind of thing. So I'll pull out the Death card. That's the famous card from Hollywood. So this Death card, you know, he's got the rose here on his flag, as the Death often does. Look for the white rose. You'll often see it in any Death card in any tarot deck, because the white rose is considered a funeral flower, but it's also a flower of hope. So most often than not, it's a white rose that are at funerals. Red roses go to people you love, and I mean romantically, sexually, lifelong partner love kind of thing. And then he's got these different veils. I really like that he's got the veils, because sort of like the veil is thinning and you're crossing through, you're making a transition, because that's what death is. Death is not the end of something, it's the transition of something. So sometimes I still get the odd client when the Death card pulls up that they're like, oh, and it's like, no, now death is a good thing. It's just a door opening. You're going into another room. You're not dying. And, you know, as they often say in tarot, death rarely means actual death. Then we've got the Travel card. Here's the beautiful Travel card. The Eight of Cups. So this sometimes means people are literally going on a trip. That's why it's nicknamed the Travel card. It's the Eight of Cups because he's, you know, obviously had a lovely party with this little creature here, and they've drank their cups full. And he's now ready, he's got his back to them, and he's ready to walk away, go off into the sunset kind of thing. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles. She's all green, of course. Green gems here, because of course it's about money. The Peacock, which is all about wealth and the finer things in life. Let me see if I can find. So the Knight of Wands. The Wands court is very red because they're all about the fire and all about charging forward and, you know, taking command of things. So that's what he's all about. He's even got sort of wings coming out of his helmet there, the golden wings. Cups. Let's see if I can find some cups. Royalty cups, I mean. So there's the Queen of Cups. So they have a lot of gold to them because the cups themselves are gold. Because cups normally are all about the water, right? So there's actually, well, there's water there. Let me see if I can find another cup. But I find, if I remember correctly, there's a lot of gold to the cups. King of Cups, here we go. No, they do have a lot of water too, so that's good. So here's the King and Queen of Cups. She's got water back here. He's got water back here. She has a storm behind her, which rain is water, right? But she's holding her cup out, ready to receive. Ready, she's open to communication. The King of Cups, he's kind of relaxed on his throne. He's got his cup out too. He's ready to receive. He's ready for open dialogue and communication. He's got water under his chair. He's also got Saturn in his background. So in this deck, pay attention to what the sky is doing, because often it will talk about, you know, sunny days ahead, storms behind you. The odd card has the odd planet in it. So this one, he's got the Saturn, because cups are emotional. They're about emotions, about relationships, and learning to control our emotions, learning to control our reactions to things, learning to work within a relationship, because every relationship teaches us something new, and often our relationships are our biggest lessons, and that's what Saturn is all about, both in our astrology chart and in as far as Saturn energy goes. Saturn is about our big life lessons, because Saturn's sort of the dad of the zodiac, of the astrology world. Like Jupiter's kind of like that cool uncle who'll slip you $10 and give you a sip of beer at a family get together. But Saturn, no, he's all about the rules. He's all about the limitations. He's the one that will ground you. And I don't mean ground you as in earth ground you. I mean discipline ground you, like take away your cell phone or make you write lines or whatever kind of thing. That's what Saturn is. Saturn's all about the life lessons. So when this king shows up, I often say it's time to kind of look at those life lessons, look back, see what you've learned, accept the gift of the lesson, right? Or there might be a life lesson you're avoiding. We can't avoid our life lessons, and we make our life lessons worse if we avoid them and don't do them in a timely fashion. So that's what the Gilded Tarot is like. Like I said, it's very colorful. There's a whole story to each suit. If you pull it out and you line up each suit, you can kind of see a bit of a storyline, and that's what tarot is all about. It is a language that's telling a story. So learn the story of each deck. And I always recommend pulling your deck out and lining up each suit and seeing what the story is, and lining up the major arcana cards in order, and kind of seeing where the flow of those stories go. Because no matter what, even if it follows the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's always a little bit of a variation. Like in this deck, for instance, one I can think of right off the top of my head is the Lovers. Because the Lovers, like I said earlier, is normally about a choice, but in this deck, it tends to be more about support. So there's always slight variations, and it's always good to kind of look at the whole suit or look at the whole major arcana and see what the story is, and see how it varies from the original Rider-Waite. It will follow it closely most of the time, but there's always little variations to that particular story. So I hope you enjoyed this deck. If you want to purchase it, I'll put some links below for it. It is a beautiful deck. I find it very cheerful, very optimistic, but not in a sugar-coated Pollyanna way, in a way that it'll just tell you how it is. It will tell you the good news with the bad, and then it's up to you as the reader whether you want to filter or not. I'm a non-filter reader. I will deliver the good news and the bad news. I just try to deliver the bad news in a very diplomatic, gentle way. If you want to know more about tarot tips, please feel free to watch my lessons of tarot, or message me if you're interested in taking the course or getting the books for my tarot course. I'm Lady Rose of Goddess Garage. I thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe to my channel, as it's a way of supporting me, and click the notification bell. That way you'll know when all my new videos go up. And I'll put links below for all my social media. On Instagram, I'm Lady Rose Tarot. On Facebook, I'm Goddess Garage Tarot Parlor. You can also support me by making a purchase in my Etsy store. I'll put the link for that below. I'll also put a tip jar on my description if you want to give me a little tip to help me continue doing these videos for free for you, and continue doing reviews of tarot decks and oracle decks for you. Please definitely make me your go-to if you're looking for a deck or looking to purchase a deck and want to know more about it. Let me know. Watch the videos, see which ones you like, or see if there's your deck that you're looking at up there already, or if it isn't, please do message me and let me know about a deck that's not up there. It might be in my stash and I just haven't reviewed it yet, or I'm happy to make a purchase. I've never said no to a tarot purchase before. Won't start now. if it's a deck you want me to review for you. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Take care and have a great day. Bye.